Thanks for joining. And thanks for several new subscribers recently. I've noticed a surge in video viewers and subscribers. That's encouraging. This is obscure, esoteric content, I realize that. And I can't help but not give up from trying to spread the word about this and to make this information available to more people. So I really appreciate it. It's encouraging. Would love to know more about you and what you're learning from or finding in some of the work that I've been sharing with you. I'm Roach, Mark Roach, and I'm thinking that I'm sharing a different perspective on things than you may have picked up from other YouTubers or from other self-help people or from ministers or other leaders in your community. I have a vast history in athletics, in business, in energy, engineering, technology, as well as just a lifetime pursuit of mysticism, spirituality, and religion that I'm finding is very beneficially communicated. From my part, it feels very satisfying to reach into some of the old text and to bring those forward here on YouTube and seeing, several hundred people and enjoying or subscribing or listening and entertaining this material. So I'm going to continue to bring some of the old work forward from around 1952 to 2024. And one of the pieces that I came across recently, I was doing some work and the magnetic center was mentioned. And the concept of magnetic center may or may not be clear to other people, so I thought it'd be good to find out what Nicole, Gurdjieff, and Jung in particular, and Ouspensky also had collectively kind of come together as to what this magnetic center that's developed in a human being might be. So I'm going to take an updated version of this text, and then I'm going to go back and finally bring the old text forward for your benefit. So this is a modern interpretation of the 1952 document for a 2024 audience. Hello, seekers of knowledge and growth. Today we're delving into the concept of magnetic center, a fascinating idea originally discussed in 1952, but still relevant in our modern journey of self-discovery and personal development. The magnetic center, consider this a guide to true value. Imagine the magnetic center as your internal compass, helping you differentiate between two types of influences in life, A influences and B influences. A influences are the everyday distractions, business, politics, sports, and social status. These keep us busy, but often lead us in circles, creating an illusion of progress without real direction. B influences, on the other hand, are deeper, more meaningful insights that guide us towards genuine self-awareness and growth. The key is to develop a strong magnetic center to navigate these influences effectively. This center helps you recognize what truly matters and guides you towards what is called the work, a path of personal development and enlightenment. The illusion of progress. Many of us believe we're moving towards specific goals in life, but often we're just caught in a cycle, much like being in a hall of mirrors. We think we're making progress because everything around us reflects movement. However, without self-observation and awareness, we might just be going in circles. Self-reflection is crucial. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we know ourselves completely or that introspection is unnecessary. But these are illusions that keep us from waking up to our true potential. Becoming a good householder, in this context, being a good householder means being responsible and grounded. It's not about owning a physical house, but about managing your inner world effectively. A strong magnetic center helps you see through life's illusions and focus on what truly matters. The journey begins when you hear the call. Refer to it as do, and realize that while the magnetic center can lead you to the work, it can't sustain you there. At some point, you need to let go of past studies and focus on new learnings that align with your current path. So letting go of old knowledge as we grow, it's essential to reassess what knowledge really serves us. The teachings from various traditions, whether Gnostic literature or Eastern philosophies, might have helped you form your magnetic center initially. But once you find your path, it's crucial to focus on new insights that resonate with your current journey. Developing a strong magnetic center involves continuous learning and openness to new ideas. This strength allows you to appreciate the unique value of your path and compare it meaningfully with past experiences. So in conclusion, in today's fast-paced world, developing your magnetic center is more important than ever. It helps you cut through noise and focus on what truly enriches your life. So take a moment to reflect on your influences and strive towards genuine growth and understanding. So that was the revised or updated, more modern version. Let me now drop back and try to communicate with you the original text, which I find is a challenging read for some of us, but there are some ways that they communicated that I think are essential to, if you will, tolerate, and I'll try to highlight those points for you. It was said recently that once you have valuation of the work, you do not need magnetic center. It is necessary to understand that a thing may be useful in one place, but useless or even a hindrance in another place. Nothing is valuable just in and of itself, but only in its relation to other things. Now you can think of anything that is valuable in itself. Think for a moment. Now think of a thing that's useful in one place, but useless or even a hindrance in another. We are taught that a magnetic center is valuable in its place. If strong enough, it can lead us from life into the work. Mr. Ouspensky developed a strong magnetic center, and to use his language, he went in search of the miraculous. He did not find what he wanted in India. On returning, he found this work. Now, magnetic center is the power to distinguish two quite different kinds of influences, which one can meet in life. They are called A and B influences. A influences are created in life. They are the interest of business, of politics, of war, of sport, of rank, of power, of intrigue, of scandal, of innumerable forms of gambling and other interests such as food and drink, money, clothes, publicity, and so on. We are dominated by one or another or more of these influences through our attitudes. It is our attitudes that connect us with them by invisible threads. Reflect on this and notice your interest. These influences, created in life and called A influences in the work, they keep the pot boiling. That is, they keep humanity on the move. They keep people going round and round and always thinking they're going somewhere, towards some goal, until we ourselves wake up a little. We think the same. We suppose life is taking us somewhere. We imagine we are going towards some goal. We certainly are, but not to the one we expect. So we do not see our real situation. We do not appreciate its dangers. We do not see where we are living in what the work calls the hall of mirrors, and are going in no direction whatsoever, and are going nowhere. The mirrors are so arranged that it seems as though one were going straight ahead. Actually, one is going nowhere. One is going round and round. This is a simple but very clever illusion, but it only has power as long as one does not observe oneself, and in life, nobody does. It's unnecessary for life. In fact, nobody wishes to observe himself. This is due to a number of simple little illusions, also very clever, such as, oh, I know myself through and through. It would make a chap introspective, morbid, you know. Or I'm far too busy for anything like that. I'm a practical person. They form an interesting collection. They're worth studying. I mean, in yourself. If you do not observe them, that is, if you do not make them conscious to yourself, they will do you a lot of harm by keeping you asleep in different ways, which of course is their object, like much else. They only have power over you if you cannot let them into the light of consciousness by means of self-observation. If you can let them into this light, then you must look at them quite simply as you might just look at an orange on your plate. This is more important than I can say. However, you will probably begin identifying long before this happens, and everything will slip back into your crowded darkness again, and everything will be as before. You see, illusions are lies, and no one ever cares to admit their illusions or lies. And there is always the master illusion, namely that one has no illusions. This lulls one to sleep. It is not all that very clever. Enumerate to yourself the great illusions of which the work speaks. See for yourselves, in yourselves, how simply and cleverly everyone is asleep and realizing how it was unnecessary to build those fences around the sheep. Now, a man with a strong magnetic center already sees some of all this. You have often heard it said that this work begins at the level of good householder. It is not for freaks or abnormal people or useless people. It is necessary to be a responsible person, an educated person, a person of some good, and if possible, a person who is or is becoming good at something. Please understand that for a person to be a good householder in the work sense, it does not mean that he must possess a house of his own. A man is his own house. It refers to what is in that house. If all three stories have something in them, it helps. Now, the work adds a few interesting things about good householder. It says that he does not believe in life. The stronger is his magnetic center, the fewer illusions about life he will have, so the less he will believe in it. You may not have noticed this connection before. Now, to return to magnetic center, it was said that once Do is sounded, magnetic center has done its work. It is also said that while it can bring you to the work, it cannot keep you in it. I will try to indicate to you briefly how indeed it may become a hindrance unless it is let go. Early in the work, I was told by Mr. Gurdjieff to put aside all my books and read no more. Now, I had already studied at various times in the past the Gnostic literature, the Neoplatonist, the alchemist, some of the Indian scriptures and Hermetic writers and Sufi literature, the Bible and Chinese mystics, the writings of Eckhart, Baum and Blake, Swedenborg and others, and had been a pupil of Jung for some years. I say all this on purpose to show you how surprised I was to learn I had to put these studies aside. But it did not mean that my studies had been useless. It meant that now, having met the work itself, they were no longer useful. They had played their part in forming magnetic center but now they enabled me to see how strong and clear and connected the work was by comparison. What I had to do now was study the ideas and the methods of the work. Anything useful gained from the past would then fall into its place. Often I feel it is a pity that so few have made the magnetic center stronger by the previous study of B influences. The magnetic center, whatever its origin, can be made strong by thought and study. That is the main point. The stronger the magnetic center, the greater is the evaluation of the work. By those who have not done this, the value of the work and its unique formulations is not instantly seen. They have little or nothing to compare it with. In that case, they need to study esoteric literature and sometime later after they have heard and practiced the work in order to widen their minds. The esoteric parts of the New Testament, such as the parables, are very valuable in this respect and continue to be all through one's development. In fact, I doubt if anyone can understand these without the work. At the end of this old text, Maurice Nicole makes a few notes. Number one, the older education, which gave a background of classical legend and an approach to Greek philosophy, tended to form magnetic center. The modern scientific textbooks do not. Number two, the work calls those who are not good householder tramps, lunatics, and hasnamus. There is the business, hasnamus, the political one, and so on, big and small. I hope you enjoyed considering what the magnetic center is. And let me clarify, both the old and the new versions of this had a reference to the musical octave and do. And I think it's important to point out for those of you that may have not come across this before, that do is basically, that's kind of like a start to an octave or to a procession of steps in life or in a learning. And so this magnetic center, maybe it be passion, maybe it be your curiosity, can be the spark that ignites your attraction to the work and to looking deeper at things. It is not, however, going to sustain the entire process of your work and your engagement in this process of lifting you out of the patterns of the old patterns, the mechanical patterns, the robotic patterns of life. It gives you a start. I'm Mark Roach. All the best.